here at Conservatory of the Ozarks, and I'm here today with
Alisa.
How old are you, Alisa?
11.
And Alisa is in what level of piano?
Book 3 units.
Something.
Yeah, I forgot. 3 or 4.
Yes,
I
and
think it's
so
3. Maybe
we
4. I
already
don't know.
completed a bunch of these flashcards last time, but now we're going to do more. I guess let's try to finish the pink ones today.
Yeah.
Because that's what we
Let's
started
try
last time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, these have so many questions. Okay, let's go ahead and start with these, even though they are the longest ones. What's this called? And these are from level 1, so I don't know if you'll remember.
Bass clef.
Why is it called bass clef? What does the word bass mean?
Low.
Low, and the bass
It
clef
plays
is
the
for
low part of the piano.
low sounds. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in piano, which hand usually plays in the bass clef?
Left.
And in piano, which notes are usually included on the bass clef from the keyboard, or the piano keyboard? Like which keys are included in the bass clef, typically?
Yeah, I don't know.
Middle
All of them?
C.
Oh, middle
and
C
below.
and below. Yeah.
Mhm.
Middle C and above. But the other one.
Right. And how many line notes are in the bass clef?
5.
How many space notes are in the bass
4.
clef? How do you remember the names of all 5 line notes in the bass clef?
Gum for the lines.
Mhm.
Gummy bears don't fly airplanes.
Very
and the,
good. Spaces.
Spaces. All cows eat grass.
Good. And could you tell me which G on the piano keyboard corresponds with the G that is the bass clef bottom line note for gummy bears? Like which G is that?
I don't know. That's confusing.
So if you were to play Gummy from Gummy Bears Don't Fly Airplanes, and all the line notes on the staff, but you played them on the keyboard, like where would you start to go? G, B, D, F, A, G1?
Maybe.
Try it and see. Gummy, where would bears be? Gummy.
Bears.
Oh, is that a B?
No.
Gummy.
Bears don't fly airplanes.
And top line A is supposed to be which A on the piano? Like, does the bass clef usually Right, so somehow you have to end up there by middle C. So which G should you start on?
This one?
Yeah, G2.
Bears don't fly airplanes.
Yeah, I'll write that down here. So G2. And then what about the space note in the bass clef? Which A would you start on for all cows eat grass?
Probably this one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It is. All cows eat grass.
Yes. And we have a second name that we sometimes use for the bass clef. Do you remember the
F clef.
I can't believe you remembered that. I don't even remember the last time I asked you about it. And in the for the F clef name, why do we call the bass clef F clef sometimes? 2 reasons. What's one reason?
I think
Yeah, just say your best guess. If you don't remember, I'll tell you.
it's because the 2 dots go between the line for F.
The F clef identifies
Yeah.
the F line.
Yeah.
And then after you say that, I ask you, how does the F clef identify the F line? And then you say the answer you just did, because the F line goes between the 2 dots. And which note that sits on the F line of the bass clef will sound when you play the corresponding key on the piano? Could you find which F that would be? And what's the name of that F?
F3.
F3. And do you remember we kind of have like a fun nickname for that F that the bass clef identifies? Sometimes we call it bass F.
bass F.
And if you put your left hand thumb on middle C, which finger lands on bass F? 5, right.
Pinky.
Yeah. So you can reach all of the keys you need from middle C position if you have your thumb on middle C, and the ending note is bass F. And let's see, are there any other questions I'm forgetting? I think that's everything for bass clef. And do you remember the names of the 3 bass clef notes you learned first in level 1?
That's too hard.
It's
way too
F,
hard.
bass F, these 3, F, G, and B. Could you hold those 3 keys down? Yeah, just hold them down like that. Good, okay. And we'll come back to that later with the others. So what's this called?
Treble clef.
Why is it called the treble clef?
Because
The word treble means
high,
and the treble clef is for
middle C and
high
above.
sounds. High
And
sounds.
middle C and above.
Which keys on the piano are included
Middle
in the
C
treble
and
clef?
above.
And which hand usually plays in the treble clef?
Right.
And what are the names, or how many line notes are in the treble clef?
5,
How many spaces?
4.
How do you remember the names of the line notes in the treble clef?
Well, I have a different one I use. Empty garbage
Oh.
before dad flips.
That's a good one. And space notes?
At face. Face.
And could you find those keys on the piano and say the names really quick?
Empty.
But try to say the
No.
letter instead of the words. You can think the word.
D. F.
Good. And the first F, that is the first line note of the treble clef, is what F? What is the name of the F?
F4.
Yes. Very good. And if you put your thumb on middle C, which finger falls on that F?
4.
Good. And if you say the space notes and play them on the keys, where would those be?
F.
Uh-huh.
A. C. E.
Good.
Yeah.
And if you put your thumb on middle C again, where does your 5th finger land?
G.
Good. And what's the other name for the treble clef?
G clef.
Why is the treble clef sometimes called the G clef? 2 reasons. Reason number 1. Oh, I forgot to say the second reason for bass clef, but we'll say it right now. I know, pressure's on. Mom's waiting.
I forgot.
So the other name for the bass clef was,
F clef.
the other name for the treble clef,
G clef.
G clef. What are the 2 reasons why the treble clef is called the G clef? Do you remember what the F clef?
Because the
It
identifies the G.
the F line, and the
The
treble
F
clef
line.
identifies the G line.
G line.
And where is the G that the treble clef identifies? Right there, yeah, where your 5th finger lands when you're in middle C position, right? And what is the second reason we sometimes call the G clef the G clef? It
Because
takes its
the
shape from the old-fashioned
G.
letter G.
Yeah.
You can see because it kind of looks like a G,
Yeah.
and you can see because this kind of, and if you have the line here, it kind of looks
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
old-fashioned fancy calligraphy F. What were the 3 treble clef notes you learned first? These.
Yeah.
So hold down those 3, and hold down the 3 bass clef. And then we see these 3 between. Those were the 3 we learned in between the 2 states, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to finish next time. But anyways, good work. I'll put those are the longest ones. Oh dear.
You can take this.
Okay, I'm taking this.
Yes.